How's it going? David here. So, this got brought to my attention, and I just have to talk about it. And I think it's so crazy and cool. I honestly do not know why this is not on the front page news everywhere. Instead, you go there and it's the same stupid garbage that they put all the time. But, anyways, so I'm just blown away by this. This is so crazy. I keep showing everyone, and I'm actually behind. This came out like a week ago, and this is stuff I follow, and I didn't even, it went under my radar. It wasn't until some other YouTuber talked about it. But one thing about me is like, yeah, I'm into like investments and financing and comics and all that kind of stuff, but I'm really into like technology stuff. And if you literally look behind me, there's a picture of Elon there. Everyone, like my close friends and family, know I'm a huge Elon fan. So he has this company called Neuralink. And if you're not familiar with Neuralink, it basically they make a small chip, very very tiny chip, and it interfaces your mind with computers. And I know that sounds very sci-fi, and I think it was started about 5 years ago, and they've done a couple demos with it. But the cool it's like they've had this kind of stuff before, like maybe like 10 years ago they had a person move a robotic limb with their mind with a chip, but those chips are always huge, bulky, just big old things, big electrodes coming out, all this kind of stuff. This is small, sleek, very commercialable. Like you can definitely mass produce this, all this kind of stuff. And Elon's whole thing is the reason why he wants to do this is eventually AI will catch up and surpass humans, and you don't want to be to the point where AI decides to wipe you out because it's what's best for the world. And that's like the doom and gloom scenario. But so he's saying that we need to integrate. So he's starting this company now, so eventually when AI gets to that point, we can integrate with machines. I know it's crazy, but I love it. I love this stuff. So let's watch this video. This is a video of a monkey that got a Neuralink and is able to play a video game with its mind. It's like straight up like an X-Men power, which is crazy. I mean, the video game's Pong from the 70s, but still crazy. So let's watch this, and I'll pause it and like do a few comments and stuff. But hopefully this thing doesn't get flagged. All my videos seem to do when I'm commenting on things.
About 6 weeks ago. If you look carefully, you can see that the fur on his head hasn't quite fully grown back yet.
Yeah, so on the back here,
he's learned to interact with a computer.
He's got a
tasty banana smoothie delivered through a straw.
He's got a little thing. But yeah, through this...
You can interact with the Neuralinks simply by pairing them to an iPhone.
How crazy is that?
Just as you might pair your phone to a Bluetooth speaker.
You can figure out the stuff which is an iPhone. But this little big old metal thing...
record from more than 2,000 electrodes implanted in the regions of Page's motor cortex that coordinate hand and arm movements. Neurons in this region modulate their activity with intended hand movement. For example, some might become more active when he moves his hand up, and others when he moves it to the right.
There's a pause button. Yeah, so as you can see, he's playing this little game here where he just has to move this little controller and put the little ball into the orange square on the screen, and then through this tube right here, he gets rewarded with some banana smoothie stuff. So he's basically sucking on that, and every time he moves the little ball into the orange thing, in the orange square, he gets a banana smoothie. So that's kind of, this on its own, that's pretty crazy that a monkey can do that. It's pretty much playing a video game with a joystick. That's basically what we do. It's just a little more advanced. I mean, we were playing Pong, and that's pretty much about what Pong was back in the day. So even a monkey doing that on its own is pretty crazy. But the monkey did get a little Neuralink chip in him. So
by recording from many neurons and feeding their activity into a decoder algorithm, we are able to predict Page's intended hand movements in real time. First, we calibrate the decoder by recording neural activity as Page uses the joystick to move a cursor to targets presented on the screen. As he's playing this game, we're wirelessly streaming, in real time, the firing rates from thousands of neurons to a computer.
Yeah, so they're just...
Using these data, we calibrate the decoder by mathematically modeling the relationship between patterns of neural activity.
Yeah, so they're basically just, every time he moves his like arm to the right, they mimic those. They can see those patterns in his brain, what he's doing, and so they're registering all this stuff. They're just collecting all this data. Don't ask me how they use this stuff. They're billions of times smarter than I am. So so I'm like the monkey.
And the different joystick movements they produce.
Now look at this.
After only a few minutes of calibration,
Few minutes.
we can use the output from the decoder to move the cursor instead of the joystick.
So that's a key part. Few minutes. The thing what they created like 10 years ago with the giant thing on there to control your arm, the robotic arm forever ago, that took a long time to train your brain to learn. This is a monkey in a few minutes. Now, you might not notice anything different, but watch and see.
Paige still moves the joystick out of habit.
Yep.
But as you can see, it's unplugged.
Unplugged.
He's controlling the cursor entirely with decoded neural activity.
All with his mind. He's just moving the
Our goal
joystick because
is to enable a person with paralysis to use a computer or phone with their brain activity alone.
And that's what he's doing.
Because they wouldn't be able to move a joystick, they would calibrate the decoder by imagining hand movements to targets.
Right, this is so
One of the
insane.
things the Neuralinks allow Pager to do is
Yeah. So, as you see before, he just used the joystick out of habit. But now, look at this, playing a video game with his
play his
mind.
favorite video game, Pong. To control his paddle on the right side of the screen, Pager simply thinks about moving his hand up or down. We've removed the joystick
lost.
altogether. Now that he's up to speed, let's increase the difficulty and see how well Pager can play with the Neuralink.
All with his mind. So the left one is the computer, right one is him on this
As you can see,
on this side.
Pager is amazingly good at mind Pong. He's focused, and he's playing entirely of his own volition.
That's just insane.
It's not magic. The reason Neuralink works is because it's recording and decoding electrical signals from the brain.
Just
Great
with
game,
thought.
Pager. And what better reward for a monkey than a banana?
Good monkey. Good monkey. But how insane is that? I watched that. I was just blown away. How many views does that have? 5 million views in a week. Good. There's hope for society. This is the stuff that I love. I love this stuff. I like I said, I don't understand why this is not front page news. Everyone should know about this. This is like insane stuff. This is like straight up sci-fi. And Elon tweeted later that obviously down the line we'll be able to move limbs and other things and random things like that. But the first goal is to get it to people, like they said in the video earlier, people that are paralyzed. And he said they will be able to eventually, the paralyzed people, use a smartphone faster than you or I could, someone that can use their hands, because there's a delay between the brain and using your hands or limbs or whatever, making that mechanical or that like electrical signal to your muscles. So technically you could just so much, like imagine typing on your phone. Imagine how much faster you could type just thinking the words. Oh, hello there. My dog walked in. Are you going to get the Neuralink? Yes, he's going to get one. But yeah, that's like kind of like the next step is to help in the medical field. And then as the technology gets better and better and better, and science continues to advance, and then they make robot bodies, and then I will put my head in a robot body and then control it with my mind. All that kind of, I'll be cyborg, you know. I'm gonna fight Darkseid. Yeah, but yeah, for right now it's just to help people, which is great, and it's just the craziest stuff in the world. They also SpaceX got like a contract with NASA, and they're gonna go to the moon in 2024, which is crazy because they're just a private company that literally just made a rocket ship that can land itself, and they can do it the cheapest because they save so much money when it re-lands. So we're going back to the moon, we're going to Mars. Like, it's just crazy times to be alive, and this stuff is like people know about it, but not that many people. Like, even Joe Rogan didn't even know that Elon Musk's rockets could go up and re-land itself. And that's how he saves us so much money, and that's why all these things are possible that he's able to do. Like, internet through Starlink. If you don't know what that is, Elon's putting tons and tons of satellites into space so people can have internet where you normally can't get internet. But yeah, just because it's like, this is the stuff that should be important. That's why I think I'm doing my part and like letting everyone know that they should, this is very important. There's a person called Ray Kurzweil who is a futurist. He's invented a lot of things over his lifetime, but you can look him up. One of the things he's a predictor. So he predicts things based off of trends and all sorts of things, where they're going to go. And he predicts, which I think he's pretty close, that the singularity, which is when machines get to the point where they're as smart as a human. Right now, there's machines are smarter than humans, right? You play chess, you're never going to beat AI, ever, right? They're just too good. Or like Go, how they beat that game, that's really hard. And there's machine learning. There's crazy things like, there was, do you guys watch special effects people react? There's this one Corridor Crew, and how they use AI before, like if you wanted to rotoscope something, which is take, like say there's an actor and you want to put him on CGI background, you have a green screen, but you have to cut all that out. And normally what they do is do it by hand. Now there's an AI program that literally does it like that, just instantly, just boom, does it. And it's like, yeah, so there's AI that's like really good at certain things, but overall not, it has to learn and it's only good at one task, right? But the singularity is supposed to be when machines are of equal, I guess, mental abilities as a human, which I know it sounds sci-fi and I probably sound like a loony, but I think something like that will happen. I think eventually Neuralink will be replaced like the smartphone, where everyone has one. You won't have a machine in your hand anymore, texting and calling people. You just think it, and it just goes through the web, through satellites. Instead of like pulling out my phone, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna text my brother or something like that, or my girlfriend. I just think it, and it's boom, done. It's gonna be like that, and then there's gonna be people that resist it. Obviously, it's called like the Luddites, people that resist change in technology, and they think it's bad. But it just moves on. Technology keeps going forward. And there's going to be people who resist it. But then you'll be that person where pretty soon everyone around you, like the smartphone. I remember when it first came out and I still had my flip phone. I couldn't afford a smartphone. But eventually everyone around you gets a smartphone. And then you're going to be that person that, I'm happy with my flip phone or my house landline. And eventually it's like payphones. They don't exist anymore, because everyone has a cell phone. So there's going to be people that resist, obviously, but it's just going to be a common thing where everyone has these chips in their head. And the thing that kind of sucks is if you don't have a chip in your head, you might not get hired at a job, because we want someone that can interface with our work computer system that's all integrated and everything like that and all. So it'll get to the point where you will have to have the chip if you want to be part of society. Like, you'll probably pay that way. You'll probably do, you'll need a job. You'll have to have that in there because you'll have to be linked up with their machines and doing their thing. It'll be crazy. And I think it's going to happen. When is the question? Will it happen, in the next 20 years? Could be. I hope so. But yeah, I like this kind of stuff, so I figured I'd bring it to your guys' attention. Let me know what you think of it. You think I'm crazy? Probably. Leave a comment of how crazy you think I am between 1 and 10. If this stuff interests you, leave a comment. If this is kind of stuff you're into as well. If you hate this stuff, let me know as well. All right. Thanks.